Hello, my people. How are you all doing? I hope we are all doing great. You are all welcome to my channel, TCN Movies TV. Over here, we review interesting movies to be better understood by the viewers. And if this is your first time here, kindly hit the subscribe button to become part of the family. The title of the movie we'll be reviewing today is In Love with a Stranger. Having said that, let's get right into the business of the day, shall we? The movie begins where a young lady named Pamela is on a bus, going home to celebrate her birthday. She's speaking with her mom, Felicia, on the phone. Her friend Debbie is also there and they can't wait to have her back. They have already set everything for the party and waiting for her to get back. While she was still on the call with her friend, her phone instantly went off. She asked the driver if she can be allowed to charge her phone in the car. The driver replied and said that wouldn't be a problem, but he would have to stop for her to get her charger from the bag in the truck. She came down, but when she opened the bag, she realized that the bag she carried from the airport wasn't hers. She became confused and didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, the real owner of the box, whose name is Lawrence, came back with Pamela's box with the intention that it was actually his box he carried. Pamela was able to get his contact from the airport duty manager and called him. She began ranting and asking Lawrence why he carelessly took her box. Lawrence didn't want to exchange words with her, so he quickly asked for her location so he can come give her her box and take his. She gave him direction on where she is and he promised to bring her box in a short while. Pamela's mom and Debbie are both worried at home because Pamela is not yet back. While she was waiting for Lawrence to arrive, the driver got tired of waiting with her and requested that she pays him so he can go carry other passengers. So she did so and the driver brought down her box and left, and that was when her anger and frustration became intensified. Finally, Lawrence arrived. He was just about explaining himself, but Pamela shut him up by rudely requesting for her box. After Lawrence handed her box over to her, he still apologized, and that was when Pamela was able to calm down and ask for his help to charge her phone in his car so she can be able to book an Uber ride to pick her up, and he agreed. Back at the house, Pamela's birthday party has been going on without her. Pamela's mother and Debbie have been trying her number consistently, but it keeps saying it's not reachable. A man walked in, his name is Martins. He happens to be Pamela's late father's friend when he was still alive. He came to give Pamela a birthday gift, but Pamela's mother, however, is not happy to see him. Apparently, she has warned him to stay away from her and her family because he wasn't a very good friend to her husband, so she walked him out while trying to control her anger. And after he left, she came to address the guests that came for the party and assured them that the celebrant will be joining them soon. Pamela is back at the scene with Lawrence. They began to talk and know each other better. Pamela told him that she has a house in Abuja and another one in Lagos, so because of her birthday, she came down to Lagos to celebrate with her mom. Lawrence poured them a drink and they continued with the discussion. Lawrence said he works with a real estate company, while Pamela says she's running the food company that her father left behind since she's the only child. However, Pamela's mom and Debbie are still worried about her at home when a handsome young man walked in. His name is David. He happens to be a guy who has for long been interested in Pamela, but she has not been giving him attention. Pamela's mom explained the situation to him and he went outside to try her number again. Pamela and Lawrence got drunk and slept off in the car, but she woke up and realized that she has spent the whole day sleeping in the car with Lawrence. So she called Debbie and gave her the location of where she is, so she immediately left to go pick her up. She got there and Pamela left together with her, leaving Lawrence behind without a goodbye or a thank you. They got home and her mom began to query her. She was so angry at the fact that Pamela stood everyone up at the party and then she's coming back tipsy after everyone has left. Pamela, in her own defense, said she didn't know there was a party, but her mom told her to go upstairs, freshen up and wake up the next morning for them to have a talk. After Pamela left, Martins began to ask Debbie if Pamela actually feels anything for him, but Debbie said that Pamela barely talks nor think about him, but Martins said he's not going to give up. Lawrence got home and saw that his television was on, which clearly means that someone is inside his house. He thought it was an intruder at first, not until his girlfriend Olivia showed up surprisingly. They hugged and kissed. They also talked for a while and she welcomed him properly before they went upstairs. Pamela got up to her room and her friend Debbie is interrogating her about what happened earlier, but she couldn't tell her the full story. And after Debbie left, she kept flashing back at the moments she spent with Lawrence and how good he made her feel. Apparently, no one has made her feel that good in a long time. The next morning, Pamela came to sit with her mom at the dining where she was eating. She began to apologize to her mom about what happened yesterday. Her mom forgave her and then asked her why she hasn't been noticing David's presence around her, but Pamela said that she has a strong feeling that David is just claiming to love her because her dad left a good fortune of wealth and he can only have access to that wealth if he marries her, and besides that she doesn't even love him. Her mother told her that she's not getting any younger, so she needs to get married and start bearing children as fast as possible. Lawrence's friend Mark came to visit him. Olivia welcomed him and quickly went to call Lawrence. He came out and they exchanged greetings. Mark asked how his journey was and Lawrence began to narrate the story of him and Pamela. Mark encouraged him to follow her up and forget about Olivia, but Lawrence waived the matter. Mr. Martins came to visit Felicia, Pamela's mother, again. She came out and saw him but wasn't happy to see him. But Martin said the door wasn't locked, so he kindly helped himself. Felicia's late husband left a mega fortune behind when he passed, so Martins has been trying his possible best to get Felicia to marry him so that he can have control over that wealth. Martins divorced his wife because she couldn't bear him a child, but at the same time, he has been sleeping with different women and Pamela's mother didn't want to have anything to do with such a man, so she worked him out. 2 months later, Pamela discovered that she was pregnant. Debbie was surprised because Pamela doesn't have a boyfriend and she definitely doesn't sleep with random guys. She asked if probably it's an immaculate conception, but Pamela said that it has nothing to do with that. Rather, it's as a result of her having sex. That was when she told Debbie the whole story of what really happened on that day between him and Lawrence, how they got tipsy and started kissing and then went beyond that. She was able to find his number and called him. Lawrence was with his girlfriend when Pamela's call came in. He picked it up and decisively excused himself and went upstairs to take the call, so his girlfriend Olivia doesn't suspect a thing. He got to the room and continued the call. Pamela told him that she has something important which she would need to discuss with him. Lawrence could not let her come that day because Olivia was around, so they agreed to meet up the next day. Her friend Debbie suggested that she goes to do a proper test so she can have a solid proof to show him when they meet, and she did exactly that. The next day, they got to Lawrence's house and gave him the report, but he denied being responsible for the baby. Debbie told him that Pamela wasn't seeing anyone when she met with him, but Lawrence said she should have aborted the baby. That was when Pamela landed a slap on his face. Lawrence controlled himself and warned her never to raise his hand on him again. He went further to accuse Pamela of being the type that drinks, and when she's drunk, she has sex with random guys and blames it on alcohol. He clearly stated that he's in a serious relationship and he has plans of getting married soon, so he doesn't need anyone pinning any pregnancy on him. Right as they were still talking, Olivia walked in. She saw the pregnancy report lying on the floor, so she picked it up and read the content. Obviously, her boyfriend has gotten someone else pregnant. Lawrence tried to explain, but she left angrily. After she left, Pamela asked him for the last time if he was going to take responsibility for the pregnancy, but he bluntly said no, so she left shamefully too with her friend Debbie. Pamela has been crying since they got back, but Debbie told her to just tell her mother the truth. Though she would chastise her and say that she's disappointed in her, but at least she can be able to get rid of the pregnancy and continue her life like nothing ever happened. But Pamela said she doesn't want to kill her child, but she thought of something, which was to get a man she can date as soon as possible, get the man to sleep with her, and then she pins the pregnancy on him. Debbie didn't like the idea, but apparently they have run out of options. But the big question is, who will it be? And that was when the thought of David came in. Though she didn't and has never liked him, but he was the easiest option at that point. Lawrence is telling his friend Mark on the phone about what Pamela said and about the pregnancy, and also how Olivia saw everything and left, and she has not been taking his calls ever since. He said he wants to have a family with a woman he loves, not with a random lady he met once and barely even knows. But surprisingly to him, Olivia walked in and asked if he has handled the pregnancy issue between him and Pamela, and Lawrence said he has asked her to get rid of it, and since she hasn't called back since then, he's assuming that she might have gotten rid of the baby. Olivia was happy. She said she's willing to forgive him and they can get back to the way they were right from the start. She went further to say that she loves the way Lawrence satisfies her in bed and she's not ready to give him up to any woman. After they were done having sex, Olivia went into the bathroom, but Lawrence unintentionally went through her bag and saw a contraceptive. He confronted her and it turns out that for every time they had sex, she has always used a contraceptive, and when she mistakenly gets pregnant, she gets rid of the baby without Lawrence's knowledge and consent. And all she could say in her defense is that she's not ready to have a child outside wedlock. She told him not to go through her stuff again, then she packed up her bag and left. Pamela and David have started getting acquainted with each other. They are seated at the dining, eating together, when Felicia came to join them, and she was happy about it, so Pamela left to get her a plate of food. Pamela was also able to complete her plan by having sex with David, so she can be able to pin the pregnancy on him. She came out of the restroom, and when she noticed that he had gone, she called her friend to share the news with her. Mark came to visit Lawrence again. Apparently, Lawrence invited him over to tell him about his plans to propose to his girlfriend Olivia, but Mark laughed seriously at him. Lawrence was confused, but Mark told him that he shouldn't do such because unknowingly to him, his girlfriend Olivia is a runs girl. According to him, he has known her way back from school, and he knows that she has slept with uncountable men for money. Lawrence got angry and warned his friend not to say things that aren't true about his girlfriend, but Mark went ahead to tell him about how many abortions Olivia has done. But Lawrence got more angry at the fact that Mark decided to keep all these away from him, knowing fully well that he has intentions of marrying her. That night, Lawrence decided to confirm if what his friend said about Olivia is true, so he managed to open her phone through her fingerprint and saw all the messages that proves that indeed she's guilty, so he cried bitterly. The next morning, Olivia began to cry and beg him to please not throw her out and not to forget all the times they've spent together. But Lawrence paid no attention to her. He asked her to drop his spare key and get out of his house and his life. She left shamefully and with tears in her eyes. Mark came over and congratulated him for getting rid of Olivia, and he also advised him to go and look for Pamela and find out if she's still carrying his baby. Lawrence wasn't sure because they haven't spoken to each other again since the last time she came, but Mark reminded him that his own girlfriend prevented herself from getting pregnant for him, but a lady he had just a one-time thing with saw it necessary to inform him about the pregnancy, and that was when he knew he needed to find Pamela. Pamela has been so furious because somehow the test result of her pregnancy is now in the possessions of Mr. Martins, and he is now threatening her with the pregnancy test. She blamed herself for being careless, but while her friend was trying to calm her down, she received a call, and surprisingly it was Lawrence. She put the call on a loudspeaker so Debbie can also hear. Lawrence began by asking if she has aborted the baby or she actually kept it, but Pamela insulted him and ended the call. But Debbie began to wonder how the test result got to Mr. Martins in the first place. She asked Pamela if anyone else entered her room, but Pamela said it was just her and David, and immediately it dawned on them that David was the mastermind behind everything. Lawrence told his friend how his call with Pamela went, but Mark told him to keep trying and not give up until she agrees to talk to him. On the other side are Debbie and Pamela. Debbie advised Pamela to give Lawrence attention if peradventure he calls back. Pamela began to lament on how Lawrence insulted her, but Debbie still reminded her that regardless of everything, he is still the father of the baby, and Pamela wished it never happened. They began to wonder why David chose to hand over the test result to Mr. Martins instead of confronting Pamela about it. Debbie suggested a plan for them to find out what connection David has with Mr. Martins. Pamela invited David for dinner, and when he came, they served him a plate of rice, and as he was eating, Debbie came down and told him that the food he's eating was poisoned by them, and he has just 10 minutes before the poison begins to do its work in his body. As he was panicking, Debbie asked him to sit down. She told him that they have the antidote, but they can only give it to him if he answers all their questions sincerely and correctly, and he has less than 10 minutes to do that, and he agreed. Pamela asked about the test results and why he gave it to Mr. Martins, so he confessed and said he had known Mr. Martins for a couple of years. He remembered how Mr. Martins hired him to get married to Pamela so he can have access to all the wealth her father left behind. This means he has never loved Pamela. He was only working according to the instruction given to him by Mr. Martins. Pamela raised a knife and asked him to get out, but he stood up and begged for the antidote for the poison. But Debbie revealed that there was no poison in his food in the first place, so he left at once. Debbie and Pamela were both shocked at the information they received from David. Pamela agreed to meet up with Lawrence. They met up at a bar, and Pamela began to pour out her anger on Lawrence while he kept calm and listened. After she was done, Lawrence then apologized and promised to take responsibility of the baby after he found out that she did not abort the baby, and from there they became friends again. Meanwhile, Martins came to Felicia with the pregnancy test results that he got from David. She was surprised, and Martins said that is why she, being Felicia, needs to accept to marry him, because if he was in control and if he was the man of the house, he would have prevented this from happening. Pamela came back and her mom scolded her, not because of the pregnancy, but because she decided to keep it away from her for over 2 months, thereby giving their enemies the chance to ridicule them. Martins turned and said that he's not the enemy and that he's only looking out for his late friend's family, and that's all. But Debbie exposed his little tricks of how he set Pamela up with David. He tried denying the allegation, but the shame was clearly too much, so he stylishly left. Few months later, Lawrence surprised her with a proposal. She accepted to marry him, and that's the end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this movie, please subscribe to my channel, drop a like, and share the video to loved ones to enjoy as well. Don't forget to drop your favorite movie in the comment section so we can show them on the channel next time. See you on the next one.